Hey guys, it's Gawain, and today we are going to be taking a look at one of the better flex operators on attack, Lion. Lion is a 2-speed, 2-armor attack operator that specializes in roam clearing, crowd control, and intel gathering. Lion has a great primary gadget, good secondary gadgets, and good guns. So let's learn how to maximize his potential. Lion is equipped with his Big Buzz, of which he gets 1 but 3 charges of it. Lion uses the iPad on his wrist and just kinda looks at it to signal the big drone in the sky to go off. When this drone is activated, there is a 1.5 second warning for the defenders to stand still before the 2-second scan goes off. This scan uses vibrations to detect any defender moving, pinging them several times to alert you and your team to their location. Vibration Victor's ability has a 15-second cooldown between uses, meaning you can't spam all 3 of them at once. The drone can't be shot out of the sky by anyone, meaning Lion only has 1 counter technically. More on that later. There are a few scenarios where it is good to activate your scan, and these include as follows. When you or your teammate spot a defender on a drone off-site to force them to stand still, so either you or your teammate can catch up to them, or they will get pinged and you can pinch them with a teammate. This is the most effective use, as Lion is a roam clearer at his core. Next, when you want to do a site execute, then you can scan before the planter runs into sight, or when they start planting to prevent enemies from running through smokes undetected and hopefully force them to just let the diffuser go down. Finally, planting and post-planting scenarios are great because they force defenders to either waste time by standing still or give you intel on where they are so you are ready to pre-fire or quickly react to them peeking. You can use it in other situations like trying to wallbang a spawn peeker that's running away, or making the enemies stand still when a friendly fuse is cluster charging sight. The main thing you need to learn with Lion is timing. Due to you only getting 3 charges of this brilliant crowd controlling ability, you need to know when to use this ability. What I've found is that you can use it reactionarily to spotting an enemy on drones, or just with your eyes to hopefully force them to stop so you can kill them, or they get pinged so you can chase them. The best Lion players will coordinate with their team to roam clear by getting them to spread out, drone rooms and call the Lion player when to scan. They will scan when necessary and the team will close in on the enemy, hopefully killing them with ease before moving on to taking sight or roam clearing the other roamers. Lion Scan is a roam clearing, crowd controlling and intel gathering ability all in one, so take advantage of that and coordinate a roam clear with at least one of your teammates to make the most of his ability. Lion's primary weapon options are the V308 assault rifle, the 417 marksman rifle, and the SG-CQB shotgun. His secondary weapon options are the P9 handgun, the LFP-586 handgun, and the GON6 hand cannon. I personally opt for the V308 paired with the GON6. The V308 is a great gun because it's got good damage, fire rate, recoil, mag size, and access to every scope up to the 2.5 times. It's pretty easy to use, and you can pretty much run whatever attachments you want on it, so I tend to go for the flash hider with the 1.5 times scope and a vertical or angled grip depending on how I feel that day. As for the GON6, this can be used to clear a piece of bulletproof utility or open a hatch, which I find very useful. The V308 and GON6 combination makes for a good kit when paired with his primary ability, as it allows you to do things I mentioned in the previous segment, have a good weapon in combat as well as a bit of utility, all without even looking at his secondary gadgets. As for the 417, it's a decent DMR that can be viable if you want it to be, because of its pretty decent damage stat and its relatively okay semi-automatic fire rate. The SG-CQB shotgun can be good when rushing opponents, as you can scan and run into sight whilst everyone is stood still to get a free pick or 2. But this playstyle isn't necessarily optimal for Lion. For primary weapons, it's pretty much personal preference. I just find the V308 is better for me. The P9 is an alright handgun if you need an emergency backup weapon, but you shouldn't if you're using the V308 as it has a 50+1 round magazine. As for the LFP-586, it's a revolver so it has increased self-destructive capabilities, but I find the recoil and sight picture too much of a hassle to make it worth your while. I definitely recommend the GON6 for extra utility over these 2 backup weapons. In terms of secondary gadgets, Lion gets access to 2 claymores, 3 stun grenades, or 2 impact EMP grenades. I find that all of these can work on Lion very well, depending on what playstyle you are going for, but I opt for the impact EMP grenades over all else. This is because it allows you to disable bandit batteries, cade claws or mute jammers on the main breach, meaning you can be even more of a flex operator by filling some of the support role too. I find the EMPs really round off your kit as Lion because you've got a great crowd controlling ability, a good gun, utility clear and utility disable for main breach. However, if your team is adamant on bringing a Thatcher or Kali, then the other secondary gadgets are viable. The claymores can block flank routes or runouts from enemy roamers, making you even more oppressive against them. The flashbangs can allow your rush strategy to be even more effective if you blind the enemies in sight, scan so they can't run away without you knowing, and then rush them with a shotgun or a 1.5 times scope on your DMR or V308. They're also good for burning grenade catching gadgets such as Aruni Gates, Jaeger ADSs, and Wamai discs. It is personal and situational preference for Lion's secondary gadgets. I just prefer to bring the impact EMP grenades when I can. During the drone phase, you want to make sure your drone doesn't die, so either set up a flank cam in the room you plan on roam clearing from, or save it to pocket it at the start of the action phase. This way, you can drone out the floors above or below sight to clear roamers out in the action phase. To start the action phase, get to the floor you think roamers will be on and start droning. When you spot a roamer and they are relatively close to you, get in the building and scan as soon as possible to try and catch them rotating. Hopefully, you will pick them off. If you need to, rotate back around to the main breach and use your EMP grenades to disable the gadgets on one of the walls so it can be opened by your ace or thermite. Clear a piece of bulletproof utility with your Gun 6 if necessary. Then, go back to droning the floor you are roam clearing on. If you don't spot anyone, then drone into sight and call for your team where the enemy is so they can start and execute. Scan when you, or preferably your teammate, is planting to protect them slightly and hold an angle for post-plant. Scan for a final time nearing the end of the diffuser timer when the enemy has to make moves towards it, giving you their location or giving them too little time to defuse it. This is the perfect scenario in my head. But obviously your scan usage can change from round to round, so if you need to use more to roam clear, then go for it. In fact, I encourage you to use as many as you need on a roam clear because that is your main job. As previously mentioned, Lion only really has the one counter, but there is technically two. Vigil and Mute. First off, Vigil, the one I class as his actual counter. If Vigil moves during your scan and his cloak is activated, he will not be detected, even though your drone detects movement via vibrations and isn't a camera feed that can be deceived. Brilliant logic there. If your roam clear game is too good, then the enemy will probably swap to a Vigil to counter you, so be ready for unexpected gunfights. Secondly, if you are stood within a mute jammer and try to scan, then it will not go off until you either shoot the jammer or move out of its radius. The counterplay to this is pretty simple. It's also worth mentioning that you can't scan if you're dead, so don't die, forehead. Your priority use with scans is clearing out roamers and tracking them down, so make sure to dedicate a lot of time and resources to your primary job. Use the V308 for a consistently good assault rifle in both close and long-ranged combat. Use a remaining scan, if you have one, to waste defenders' time during a post-plant scenario so they are forced to stand and do nothing for 2 seconds, or you get intel on them. It's a win-win. Use the Gun 6 and the EMP secondary gadgets to make you even more of a utility operator. You're a flex operator, so be both a fragging and support operator at the same time with a great gun and great utility. Learn when it is a good time to scan and how to capitalize upon the crowd control effect and the intel you gather to maximize your gadget. Overall, Lion is a middle-of-the-road operator to play in my opinion. I almost put him as hard because the timing can be tricky, but the rest of his kit is very easy to use and you literally have to press a button to use his gadget. Learn the best ways to use and capitalize upon your scans, learn how to coordinate a roam clear with at least one teammate, learn how to maximize the rest of his utility alongside his primary gadget, and you are sure to become a pretty decent Lion player. Thank you all for watching, I do hope you enjoyed. If you found this guide helpful in any way, shape or form, please consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends, as it does help grow the channel and that is very much appreciated. As always, all the clips in the video were taken from my Twitch stream, link will be on screen and in the description. This is the last Siege guide of 2022 and it will be released on the 23rd of December, which is tomorrow for post-editing going. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year everyone. We're going to be kicking off 2023 with a Rooney, I believe, so I'll see you all then. Goodbye.